The general rule is this: if you have a decision to make and you're deciding between sort of the status quo, your current default trajectory, which is not going to expose you to any really new, massive, interesting experience that's going to grow you significantly, versus a decision that is going to thrust you into a new situation and really going to challenge you, choose the one that's going to challenge you. This is almost always the best choice. Even if it ends up being not your ultimate destination, it's still going to grow you and challenge you. Whereas if you just stay in your comfort zone, what's going to come of that? You're going to stagnate. That's what's going to happen. So I would say, all else being equal, always err on the side of action, proactivity, and massive new experience. Like, let's say you can stay at your current job that you've been working for the last 10 years and just keep doing the same old thing over and over again. Or you could take a risk and maybe some new job was offered in some new country that you've never been to before. This would require you to relocate, to take the risk of living in a different country. Maybe you won't like it. Maybe that job doesn't even pay as much money. Maybe you're not going to like that new job, whatever. But even if all that is true, even if it's the worst case scenario that you don't like the country, you don't like the job and so forth, just the fact that you go through the process of moving there and going through maybe a year of working there before you decide to quit, that massive life experience you gain is going to be so much more valuable than just doing the same old thing you've been doing for the last 10 years. Also, in most cases, when you have a decision and you're not sure between which two to choose because it's so close, like, should I become a filmmaker or a musician? I don't know. I like both. You can kind of get stuck in that because you make it, in your mind, you make it seem like you can only choose one. But realistically, what you can do in most times is you can do one for a couple of years, and then if it doesn't work out, you can switch and do that the other option that you didn't choose. You can then explore that option. So most of the time, you can explore both sides of the fork. That's what I'm calling the fork. You can take the fork. You can take both sides of the fork. Now, what that's going to require working twice as hard. See? Because the fear you have is like, well, what if I work on being a musician for 2 years, and then I realize that all that time and energy and effort was wasted because I don't really want to be a musician, doesn't align with me, and then I have to go to become a filmmaker, I have to start from scratch. That's going to require another 2 years. I'm going to lose 2 years. Not really, though. Because even that experience you gained with the music, those 2 years of music and working on that, you're going to be able to translate a lot of that over. A lot of it's going to be applicable even to your filmmaking. And you're going to learn a lot about yourself in the process of making that music. And you're going to develop some core skills, like you're going to develop discipline, work ethic, a good morning routine, waking up on time, this kinds of stuff. You're gonna learn. You can learn those making music, and then you can switch to filmmaking, and those will still apply within filmmaking. You see. So don't fret too much about making close decisions. You can often do both, just not at the same time. Right? Don't do both at the same time. Don't try to become a musician and a filmmaker at once. What you should do ideally is say, okay, let's say I'm 90% passionate about being a musician, and I'm 85% passionate about being a filmmaker. Therefore, I'm going to go with musician. I'm going to do that for a few years, see how that works out. If it's not working out, then I'm going to go transition back into filmmaker, let's say, and then I'm going to do that. And then if that doesn't work out, then I'm going to find some third thing. This means you're going to work a lot harder than most people, but this will actually be good for you because you're also going to grow from that work. Don't be afraid of hard work. Don't be afraid of working more than everybody else is working around you. It's going to pay off for you eventually. Now you might say, but Leo, what if I make a disastrous decision? Shouldn't I be worried about that? That's possible, of course. There's no guarantees that you won't make a disastrous decision. However, consider the following. What if your fear of making disastrous decisions actually leads you into the disaster of not making any decisions at all, stalling out the clock in your life, and then just ending up with mediocrity? Why aren't you more afraid of that possibility? Because that is the most likely possibility. The most likely possibility is not that you're going to make a disastrous decision, is that you're going to make no decision at all, and that will be the disaster of your life.